The stories behind iconic legendary cars are all similar: just be first and better than everyone else, faster, more luxurious, more reliable, or more advanced, and everyone will talk about it. But failure stories are always different and unpredictable. In the worst case, no one ever knows about the disaster. In the best case, the failure becomes legendarily loud. Ford has such a dark spot in its history. The automotive giant believed that releasing this car would keep them as market monopolists in the mid-20th century. Today we're talking about the most disastrous car in Ford's history. And while it looks decent enough on the outside, people avoided it like the plague, both literally and figuratively. This is the dark horse, the Ford Pinto. The Ford Pinto story began in the late 1960s when American auto giant Ford faced pressure from Japanese automakers. Compact, fuel-efficient, and cheap cars from Japan were rapidly conquering the US market, and Detroit understood, without a quick budget response, they could lose an entire generation of buyers. Ford President Lee Iacocca, known for his charisma and decisiveness, set an ambitious goal: create a compact car in under 2 years, weighing no more than 2,000 pounds and costing no more than $2,000. Thus the Pinto project was born, compressed in timeline, budget, and even common sense. The project was rushed, ignoring standard testing cycles. For the first time in company history, a car was approved for production before crash tests were completed. All to meet the fall 1970 deadline and beat the Japanese to market. On paper, everything looked great: lightweight, compact, maneuverable, and most importantly, cheap. But reality quickly ruined the picture. Every production cost was cut to the maximum. They cheapened everything possible, removed everything the car could move without. They even wanted to replace the back seat with 2 comfortable stools, but discovered pine boards and carpentry services cost more than foam and framing. Even power steering was an extra option. Maximum cost-cutting made the car unsafe for drivers and bystanders. The fuel tank drew special attention. The problem was its location. Positioned directly between the rear bumper and rear axle, practically unprotected. In a rear collision, even at low speed, the tank could rupture and the gasoline would ignite. The situation became especially scandalous after investigations revealed that engineers knew about the problem. What's more, there was an internal company document with calculations: how much it would cost to modify the tank versus how much potential lawsuits from victims would cost. Based on the numbers, they decided it was cheaper to pay compensation for burned cars than to redesign the vehicle. This document leaked to the press and caused public outrage. So the Pinto became more than just a failed car, it became a symbol of corporate callousness. The car quickly earned the nickname the Flaming Pinto. Jokes about it circulated on comedy shows, in newspapers, and even on bumper stickers: Ford Pinto, ignite your life. Some owners tried attaching signs to their rear bumpers: caution, don't rear end, may explode. The car became so notorious that it started appearing in movies and TV shows as the vehicle of choice for destruction scenes. If they needed a spectacular fireball, they picked a Pinto. Marketing attempts to salvage the Pinto's reputation sometimes looked absurd. At one point Ford released slogans like "Pinto, economy you can feel," or "Pinto, for the young and bold." One of the funniest cases involved an ad campaign promoting the Pinto as a freedom machine for urban jungles alongside Jeeps, which were far safer. Trying to emphasize the car's compact size while ignoring its tendency to burst into flames looked especially ironic. Interesting fact: despite the scandals, Ford sold over 3 million Pintos, and the car even had its own fan base. Some owners kept their cars for decades, decorating them with slogans like "I survived the Pinto," and organized club meetings where they swapped stories and spare parts. There were even joking competitions, who could drive their Pinto the longest without it catching fire. In 1978, Ford initiated a recall to have dealers install plastic shields, one between the fuel tank and differential bolts, another to prevent contact between the right rear shock absorber and the new fuel filler neck, which was recessed deeper into the tank and more resistant to rupture in rear impacts. Despite its grim reputation, the Ford Pinto did have some bright spots. This compact car was Ford's answer to the rapidly growing small car market dominated by Japanese and European vehicles. The Pinto came in 3 body styles: two-door sedan, hatchback, and wagon. It was equipped with modest but reasonably reliable engines for its time. The base was a 1.6-liter engine, and later a more powerful 2.3-liter engine appeared, which is considered one of Ford's most durable engines ever. Transmission choices included a 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic, which was a decent offering for the era. In terms of handling, the Pinto was light, maneuverable, and economical, especially compared to gas-guzzling American land yachts. Weighing around a ton with fuel consumption rarely exceeding 25 miles per gallon in mixed driving, this was a real selling point at the time. So if you're going to criticize the Pinto, it's fair to acknowledge, it was a timely response to market demand, economical, cheap to maintain, and reliable in its own way. It just had really bad luck with that trunk location. Forbes magazine repeatedly mentioned the Ford Pinto in its publications, including listing it among the worst cars of all time in 2004. Today, the Ford Pinto remains a lesson for the entire automotive industry. It's a story about how corporate pursuit of profit can turn catastrophic, and how one design flaw can make it into textbooks forever. But despite all the drama, the Pinto's story is full of anecdotes, bizarre decisions, and even hints of nostalgia. Because it's not just a car, it's a symbol of an era when speed and cost mattered more than safety, and when even failure could become legend. Friends, drop your comments. What do you think about this car? And what would you choose if you were back in that era, Ford Pinto or Mustang?